I think it's covered.
Oh, it's got a drone delivery is something is coming. Here comes drone delivery is dead.
Right.
But that's really, really. Oh, he doesn't want to talk. He's
been very
muted
naughty.
himself.
He's been trying to upset poor little Bobby. Man, I've seen him on Twitter. It's been a big bully.
Oh, is he? Oh, I've missed this. I thought we'd be talking controversy via FPV influencers there. Not now he's also having a pop at the drone delivery industry as well. That's terrible.
Am I working?
Yeah, no, can't hear.
Damn.
I always wonder why you've got your headsets are both positively charged. Either say your earpieces.
They repel. It stops them getting too close together. my head is negative. It's all right. It attracts.
It attracts them in. Yeah, that's very clever. So what's he done to Bobby then? Poor Bobby. Bobby had a nice, successful graft today. Has he had a pop at that?
Who? Me?
You, yeah.
Yeah. No, I just pointed out that who's that company that Skydrop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And also, did you see? I pointed out that you know how he was crying about how his parachute works from that height. Well, it wasn't very long ago his parachute didn't work, and there was an incident where it crashed into the ground.
To be fair, I think that was a while ago because I had been before he was on this show, and he was going on how they had been through several iterations with the drone of the various models. So I'm sure how it is now versus what it started as. It will come a long way.
I think those parachutes on the drones
had his fingers in the design of that, so I'm convinced it's solid.
Yeah, the ones they use on those drones in Milton Keynes work really well. When they're going really fast and they pop the parachute so they can slow down in time to stop outside the gate of the person who's getting the fish and chips.
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Those little
the wheeled ones. Okay. I said, I didn't know what you were talking about then.
I don't know what I'm talking about either, but that doesn't stop me.
No. Fair enough. Fair enough.
All good.
So you must have seen the drone chasing the racing car.
Yes. Did you notice one very important thing?
Analog
for the win. Analog for the win.
I did notice analog for the win. Yes, I did. I thought that was very interesting.
They would have had enough money to have any FPV system they would want, Red Bull back in them and so forth. They didn't go DJI. They didn't go Walk Snail. They didn't go HD0. They went analog.
Let's put the picture of it up there. I should be ready to go there. I thought perhaps, because I'm that sort of a fellow, a little bit meh in a lot of ways. It's a very cool video, as Johnny said. I mean, it is the whole premise of it is very cool. Yeah. But is this really the way to do it?
This is the way that Formula One races will be viewed in future. All the TV people want these now so they can chase cars fast. It's going to be brilliant. Opened up a whole new door. All the people now flying their tiny whoops in their living room, we're building these things and going out and selling their services to the motorsport industry. It's a whole new door opening in the industry.
Why wouldn't you have done it with a fixed wing platform, though? A tiny, fast fixed wing platform?
Because it's the corners. The corners are the problem. Yeah. You can't slow down quickly enough, whereas you can scoot sideways with the drone and go backwards and power it up. It's much harder with a fixed wing to something. If it was just traveling at a constant speed, no problem. But with the massive acceleration and deceleration, 2 Gs of deceleration, you're not going to get that with a fixed wing. So you'd overshoot the corner. You have to do a big circle to come around the back. Now, quads are the way to go.
And from Johnny said from Banggood soon, but it probably is already up tonight. And a company do sushi deliveries in Norway. Gosh, but the people in Norway, it must be spread out by miles, or they all live in a handful of towns.
I'm going to use this for slot car racing, for catching slot car racing.
Absolutely. Slot car racing, is that still a thing? I wonder. I guess it apparently still is.
Slot car racing is still a thing.
They used to be in the shopping malls here. They used to have huge tracks in shops, and people used to go.
It was really groovy in the 70s.
Groovy, yeah, absolutely. Very, very groovy. Frozen sushi and winter. Yeah, that's an interesting proposition. Drone deliveries in Norway. I've never.
They're electric everything, aren't they? Electric cars.
They are electric everything, and they have they've done wonderfully well with their sovereign wealth fund. But very tiny places. I've only been to Andoya in the north there, and there was not a lot there. So I should imagine a chap on a bicycle could cycle around and do it. So you've told Bobby drone deliveries are off. You're not leveraging your FPV influencer status hardly and hard enough. These videos.
Did you see Pavel Spachowski's video? Yeah.
Yeah, all these videos that are popping up are very interesting. I mean, I must admit, I did send a screenshot of this month's YouTube earnings to a friend of mine that I was very I was really chuffed with the $1.14 that came in this month. It really, really pushing the boat out there.
I hope you've declared this, Gary. I don't want the tax man pestering you.
I don't even bother to collect it because it will cost more to sort out in tax then it's just pointless. It's just I don't even bring it in. I just leave it. Meh. When it gets
to your retirement,
exactly. When it gets to $1 million, I'll be there. I'll be absolutely be there. So what have we seen? There was that. I've seen that Sikorsky.
The balloon.
That's just ridiculous. The number of those balloons that are going around the world constantly. In fact,
the one at the airport that they got with a fire hose in Buenos
Aires. Oh no, I didn't see that one.
Oh, Rio de Janeiro. There was one big balloon came drifting across the runway, so they got the fire truck out and squirted that and knocked it out of the sky. That would never have happened with remote ID.
No, of course not. I know. I didn't even see that one.
Oh, and did you see the FAA made a post saying, when you're traveling on an airliner with your drone, make sure that like batteries and fuel cells. Who the hell has fuel cells in their drones? And so I asked them, I said, can you please name one brand or model of drone that has fuel cells? And as usual with the FAA, silence, crickets chirping. They've probably been told, don't engage with this old man from New Zealand. He will just make you look stupid.
Oh, Drone Jesus is here. Autel Alpha in the wild. My word. Hello, Drone Jesus. I hope you're well. And I've forgotten the name of your new company. So please put it in the comments. Unless you want to come and tell us about the Autel Alpha, then we will sort you out for that. Let's just look at what balloons we know are in the wild at the moment over North America. So these are weather balloons. There's no...
Why are they all green?
No. Why? That's the
it's environmental.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So there's that many. That's the weather balloons. Now, where can we go to we got the amateur ones. Here we are. Let's go to this one. Let's see if there's any round the world ones going at the moment. Oh, don't take forever. Yeah, I think people are. Here's some. Okay. So, right, let's launch the wing for KJ for that one, that one. That's around the world. Is that an APRS one? Yeah. I don't know what. That'll be around the world one.
Is this Open Balloon Network?
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of them are using. It's not actually APRS. No, they're using Whisper. Can you see here? Whisper, the thing that's suddenly coming to us. So they're using Whisper and Flam. Yeah. So the idea that it's a novelty is ridiculous.
The thing that annoyed me about that balloon over America, it was flying at 30,000 feet or something. Was it 30 or 40?
Yeah.
Where airliners commonly fly. It was at 20 or 30 feet diameter with a box underneath it. And yet they commented saying it was no danger to airliners or anything. Yet if I take a 250-gram plastic toy to the airport, oh no, the sky is falling. How can it be that a 2 foot by 2 foot box of unknown contents being supported by a massive great... How can they draw these really, really weird sort of connections that this is safe, but this isn't? I'm sorry. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and as Lima Bravo 4 Fox Hotel saying that's SQ6 KXY's nice radio som tracker, and in fact, if you want, let's put it up here. Whisper Balloon TX. There's some really fantastic transmitters out there that are available now. If you fancy having a go at this, and you can do it right from Mylar Balloons present.
What we need are more balloons and a Mishtextic network.
It's there with Whisper. It's there with Whisper, really. But I mean, look at that. That's everything. It's not got the solar panel. Some of them have got a solar panel as well. $58. That's all you need, kids. If you want to have and you can put that on just a bit bigger than a silver party balloon, and that will go around the world.
So
$58.
Why is that $58? But the cheapest remote ID you can buy is like $80. What's going on here? Surely there's not a bigger market for these than there is for remote ID.
There may be someone. Don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas. But it just really annoys me that this is all thought to be nefarious and new, and it's been happening forever. Happened for absolutely ever, and it's a really fun hobby if you're nerdy enough for that sort of thing. So what else? I mean, look, 11 minutes, and I've just ranted about nothing. Ian, Ian, what have you seen that's caught your fancy? And John says 30K easily. Yeah, those weather balloons very, very easily, very easily, John.
I've been too busy making a nuisance of myself this week to see what's going on in the general world with drones. I've just been reading them, some recent replies just whilst you've been chatting on the show, and I put one in the private chat. But it's interesting. Another force that had higher drone incident figures than I expected. I'd queried them about how many drone flights because they were logging their own drone flights in the logs, how many drone flights it had in 2022, and you can see here 815. So it's another
815.
Yeah, so it's another force where the data seemed oddly high, confirming actually we're doing a hell of a lot of flying of our own drone that we're logging. So that's.
Remind me, because I've forgotten. What was the big number we're trying to decrease? It was 20,000, well, no, 18,000.
Well, I remember this is only over 1 year, so really over a year it's about 6,000 if it divides.
No, but what was the number in the CAA report again? I can't remember what it was.
18,000, but over 3 years.
18,000. So there's another 800 off it. Yeah. That's just, it's mind blowing. You're going to get down to less than 1,000 other reports, aren't you? If you're not careful, easily.
It's going to be strange figures at the end of it. The final forces we've got it's an odd one because they've obviously been continuing on responding and being helpful, just helping clarify the figures. But I've got one or two where they've just been strangely awkward. There's West Midlands Police. I've just been looking at before this, and they've just been arguing and replying because just on the nature of the question, they're saying the NPCC should have never described it as what the wording they used was the wording I'd use, which is I think standardized reporting or something. It was I just used the exact terms that NPCC use. Yeah, standardized reporting. And they're saying, well, that's just nonsense. There isn't a standardized report for drones. And because there's not a standardized report for drones, we're not answering any question because your question doesn't make sense. I was like, but I'd already elaborated and said, yeah, I know this doesn't make sense. This is what they said, but this is what they did. And said, it's free text search. Can you just do that? But instead of just going off to do the free text search, they've had somebody spend hours just writing up an argument of, well, just send us in a new freedom of information with that, with how you've reworded it, because the way you've worded it initially has irked us because that's not what they've. And it's just like, oh dear. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back on that one and just say, yeah, I just do it, just do it. That's all I'm asking. Just give me the count. I'll go away. You know, again, they're getting worried about the thing of saying that there isn't, you know, there isn't a report. You shouldn't be comparing it and all that. I'm like, I know. You don't need to tell me these things. I'm just trying to do what they've already done. and put the figures out. That's all it is.
Goodness,
yeah, I'll just once have a look. I'll just send you it, and you can just have a little peek at this one because it's
all right.
Let's have a look. It was there in front of my face in a moment, and then it went and vanished here. And scroll down, and we'll get the exact link to it. This is just the fun of freedom of information. Sometimes you just get in these ones, and you just wish you could just press the rewind button and just go chill out. Let's just get to the answer.
And if you're not doing this, you're up at 3 a.m. painting stuff.
Yes, that's true. I was up at 3 a.m. painting stuff. And alongside this, I can't talk about it yet because it's still in progress, but I am dealing with one IPSO, and
where am I going in this one?
Yes, this is just really the bit of the response of. I think they said I asked for an internal review, and I didn't. I just said, "Look, this is just what I want. Can you just answer the question?" And if you see if you go down and just say, "We don't hold this information because we don't hold it in this form because the question's not relevant." And I'm like, "I know, I've explained." And they see, with regard to your comment asking us to redo our research based on your refined wording, because these questions don't form part of your original request, I can't look at them for a review and all that. It's just all this, I don't know, just but being Jobsworth is the phrase I'm looking for. Where it's just like we can take a step back, we can move on, and just get to the answer here. And it's ended up going in opposite direction on this one, but we'll get there in the end. I'll just put in a new request as they've asked. But yeah, this is why these things end up taking some time because
some time,
so sometimes they can get a little bit silly like this one. The request about the IAG meeting where I was mentioned, that one's gone on a little as well because it turns out on freedom of information, if you're discussed on any document in any forms, paper, electronic, whatever, you can't request it via freedom of information. When you ask for it, they're supposed to say what you need to do is a data protection subject access request, which they hadn't mentioned. So I just had to say, oh, wait a minute. Well, if I can't have my name shown, I mean, I know my name, so I've told you where it is. I've told you I don't mind. But even with all that, you've got to go again. You've got to go for the process. So I've just got to go for that process with them. So they've told me, the route. Yeah, that neither MPCC or the hello, Kevin.
Kevin and John in the same chat. Right, I haven't got that tin helmet handy.
Have we got a risk assessment for that?
Have we got a risk assessment? Yeah, exactly.
On the show because I don't think I started to him by voice. And then the CAA had asked them the same question, and they
word, and David Walters as well.
And
dear.
They hadn't even bothered saying, "Oh, you need to put in a subject access request." So it's you don't know. It's a bit odd that sometimes with the freedom of information you get helped in the right way, and sometimes you don't. But we're going to get there in the end.
It's as dull in many ways, as I said last week, as dull as this one is. If you bang down those numbers just to show how unreliable they were in the first place, and the whole premise of this will be revealed. And interestingly, in the crewed aviation side of things, the CAA are just putting some consultations about crewed licensing, balloon, helicopter, and whatever, and the general aviation community in the UK is getting a bit upset by their shenanigans with what they're doing and what they're asking them. And it's like, this is all awfully familiar. Consultations, stuff's been decided for you, I'm afraid, old beans. So there's one expertise. I'll find this. I'm guessing I'm going to know what this is a good one.
This one, I was going to say on this one, I've marked it successful and complete because if you go down to the 23rd of February CAA response, they have taken it well, and they have said that
the 21st. We're going to the 23rd. The 23rd. Here we are.
So they've said they'll take the feedback and suggestion, and they will pass them on to UCAB. So if you scroll up to my suggestion just above, I did actually see opinions on a few people with this. I did ask some actual genuine pilots on this as well, and they said that it seemed perfectly common sense. So what I said was what we've all noted is that, because I read here, it can't have escaped the attention of UCAB or the CAA that the press are misusing the air proxy reports as material for clickbait articles, often presenting a picture beyond what the air proxy truly identified. This is something I'd seen while I was actually doing this IPSO process. I've chosen not to challenge it on this particular one, as there were more important things I needed to deal with. But I wanted to think about it for future, because one of the problems you have if you're trying to make a complaint about the press is what I found out, unlike, say, the BBC, where they've got to be partial and balanced, a newspaper report doesn't. So they can pick people they know will be highly negative, highly dramatic, spin a story that's presenting, a picture that doesn't cover the whole truth and the opinion, what you get, the broad opinion you would get if you asked across the drone community, and that's perfectly fine. So it's really tricky to go against an air prox the way the paper will present it, because the paper will say, we're just reporting what's in the air prox report, what the pilot said, and we'll ignore everything else. We'll ignore the fact there's no mention of counter drone. We'll ignore the fact the air prox itself even says there was no radar contact. And so it's really difficult. So there would have to be more within an air prox itself that said you need to take this really with a pinch of salt. So really what I've tried to do is put some word in where it reflects it fairly about what the purpose of an air prox is, so that if this was in each air prox, we'd have more sort of ammunition to go to IPSO and say, wait a minute, the newspaper has reported this as fact, and the document itself says this isn't actually as solid as it's presented today. So what I've asked for really was, and I said you can reword it however you want, but I just gave this as an example, was I put this air prox report is published in the interest of enhancing air safety, which is the whole point of an air prox. And I put, unless stated otherwise, this air prox, and I put, has not been the subject of an investigation by law enforcement, the CAA, or the MOD, and all the available data recorded on sensors such as counter drone may not have been acquired. I mean, that's a fair statement, because the way it's presented with air prox is this, as though it's fact, as though it's been a proper criminal investigation that the police would take by saying there'd been an assault and so on, and there's none of that. There is no investigation by any of the authorities as standard with an air prox. And I put 2 visual accounts can include mistaken identification of airborne objects. That's absolutely true. As such, the account here is not a verified statement of fact of the named object being involved, and this is to cover actually not just drone air proxies. This is true of all air proxies. You got air proxies allegedly between different kinds of aircraft, and again, those might not actually be verified. There might not be radar contact that says there was a balloon there at the time, or another aircraft, or whatever else. So there will be air proxies again that don't have anything to do with the drone, but are blown out of proportion. And then
they end up as airliners nearly collide over Norwich or something like that.
Exactly.
That. And when there's no, and
I don't
that's
think
not what they're.
Point 3 actually, which is where you'll get into there, Gary, was no determination of the likelihood or severity of an accident should be concluded or speculated from this data set, because that's exactly what the media are doing. They're saying these 2 objects were definitely going to collide. Everyone was going to die, and all the parts were going to fall down and ray down on this particular city.
Schools, nurseries,
schools, yes.
Puppy centres.
If we had something along these lines in each air prox, it would make life easier, because it's been misused here in the UK. It's just I mentioned this to someone, and they used the phrase I've used in the past around this: lazy journalism. It's just an easy.
Well, it's easy, isn't it? Yeah. It's easy. They've printed it. You just, in fact, it's even easier now. You get Chat GPT to rewrite it for you and chuck in a couple of paraphrases. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's just an email alert set up, so the moment an AirProx comes in, the boom on it, like you say, you could just go straight.
Oh, I get it. The second they release them, I get them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that was a good one for this week. I mean, obviously there could be humour in me and not going, but I don't see why they do that. So I mean, once it gets to UCAB, they might just say, sod it. Why should we? All we could do is put the idea out there. But I think, in my view, it's in their interest and the CAA's interest, because the longer this goes on, one day a politician's going to pick up on this, or there's something going to be. There's going to be political games will be played at some point and say, well, we've seen all these air proxies for all these years. Why has nobody investigated them? Sooner or later, there will be some finger pointing, and it will be uncomfortable for both of those organisations anyway. So I think by having a disclaimer, you're also you're removing a rod from your own back, because you're saying straight away, there are limits to this data set. And then you
immediately make me think: have you been missold house, whatever insurance or whatever? Claim Ian Hudson's missed sales. Spartan 329 saying: have there really been 6 incidents with drones and rotorcraft? Quite possibly. We certainly know of the Canadian one. There was the one in New York. That's 2 hits.
There's one recently, wasn't there, with an R44?
Was that? Yes, there was. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's the R44. There's 3 we can.
There's one the CAA in New Zealand said, "Oh, look, this drone hit this helicopter, but it was all staged when it actually had a wire rope hit the exhaust thing, and they
that's right."
And it's again, regulators making crap up to try and push through regulations that have no warrant justification. But has there been 6? Has there?
There probably has.
Like remember, there was the R22 on a training flight that crashed because the guy saw a drone and he overreacted. The student overreacted, and
that's the one where it wasn't even a drone anyway. It was a lie, isn't it? There was one where there was definitely one where there was a student pilot and he'd been told to say that, and then under interview he cracked and said that it wasn't the case.
Yeah. No, they probably have been. They probably have been. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. But what we know for certain is there's been 0 fatalities with it. And there you are, and I've forgotten where it was in the world on those sightseeing jobs where one took off and one descended into the other, and that was 2 crude helicopters
on the Gold Coast, wasn't it?
Was it? I can't remember, mate. I can't remember.
Australia. Yeah,
I can't remember.
Situational awareness.
Yeah, and then the one where the one climbed in the Alps into the Jadel as well. There was another one. We climbed straight up, and that was all died. So I think we can quickly think of 6.
We don't need TCAS. We only need remote ID.
Yeah. It's quarter to March, isn't it? Or it's 10 to March now.
Just over a couple of weeks. Just over a couple of weeks.
And remember, compliance is futile. No, that's not the right words, but it's something like that.
Ohm's law, resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile, absolutely. I'm beginning to see lots more red adverts popping up in the world now. Now, while I don't know if Kevin and Drone Jesus John are still in the chat, but in order to get them arguing, Kevin, if he's on LinkedIn now, I wonder if you can click his LinkedIn profile from that. No,
he hasn't finished the threat assessment yet to see whether it's safe to come on.
No, quite so. Kevin has some very proven views on DJI and various things that he's uncovered that they've done. He comes from the security background. And John, shall we say, is more from the Autel DJI. We're selling them line of things.
Is Kevin thinking about this new proposal to ban all DJI drones under the FCC regulations? Ooh.
And then also there's the people are getting wound up about them being granted patents in America as well. They're saying the patent authority shouldn't let it happen. And it's very interesting. And I think, as I've said before, my takeaway on this really is if DJI has managed to do all these things, well, good on them. Good for them.
Where are Ring doorbells manufactured?
I don't know, probably China.
China, perhaps. Cameras all over America. Made in China. Ooh, has he looked into that as a threat?
Well, and things like Temu, Banggood, all these AliExpress, all these online
Chinese
shopping
spy
places.
agencies.
Yeah, well, they'll be using the sentiment tracking software that they use over there, that they use on their population. They'll
You
be
download an app.
gathering exactly. There you go. There you go. But you know, it all's fair in love and war, isn't it? How about iPhones? Yeah, they're supposed to be protected. MTV. I'm fishing for them, but I can't get them to comment in the comments. This fishing trip's not going well on my by my reckoning. But yeah, there's definitely, I think, unfortunately, the lobbying from Skydio is just horrendous, and you can't lobby an average product into being a number one product. It's got to be a good product to deserve its place in the market, and that's a problem. And ITAR is a huge problem for America as well. Getting the stuff out is next to impossible if you make it. So if you become a big manufacturer in the US, your market is America. And that's, whilst it's a big market, it's not the whole world. So yeah, I think they're busy shooting themselves in the foot. And as he says, I'm getting on to a bit of a rant here. As FPV,
look at Tesla.
In what way?
Well,
they're not ITAR.
Oh, I'm sure some.
Yeah, but they're not
on board there. The self-drive, that must be covered by that. You know, imagine all these self-driving.
The self-drive potentially could be, yes, because it's an autopilot. In fact, Kevin would know about that because Kevin makes those self-driving taxis, or he did for a while. I think they've been grounded.
Bicycles.
Yeah, grounded is the wrong term, isn't it? Because they already were.
There's a news for those actually just before the shows come on air. That is that Apple dropped out, so they were trying to do an Apple Car, and they've taken.
Did they ever announce that they were going to do it officially? Though it was a rumor, but it was never officially announced, was it?
This isn't for a drone. This is for an Apple Car to go up against Tesla, and they've just. It's interesting when you got as much money as Apple, and you decide it's just not worth the effort.
Especially in something that's style focused as cars. I mean, people buy cars because, it's a styly car. That's why Mercedes still sells cars.
Well, I think with Apple, they'd be like, how do we get someone to buy a new car every year? And like, no, we're not going to do this.
I just have to put, every time I hear that mentioned, I'm sure you can probably guess where I'm going with this. Present, share screen. Every time I hear Apple Car, that's what I think. That's exactly what I think. Old lowly worm driving his Apple Car from whatever, I've forgotten his name. I've forgotten the author's name. Richard Scarybooks, isn't it? Yeah, so that's what I was.
It's pretty old technology, though, Gary. It's only got a single core.
Very good. Very, very good. Here we are. Hooray!
Oh, look at this. He's written a novel.
Yeah, the sentient supervisor. Yeah. Are we trying to ignore DJI's history? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying good on them. If they've managed to do that, Kevin, good on them and getting past it.
If lying was a hurdle to being involved in government contracts, we wouldn't have any politicians in the Senate, would we? I mean, lying is the lingua franca of politics. Yeah,
and unfortunately, it's gone. And as the this is where and I'm glad they've come, because this is a connection I wanted to make with. I did actually want to make this connection with FPV influencers. That market is falling apart a little bit. The FPV market is getting old, a little bit old hat, a little bit exciting every once in a while, but it's getting a little bit old hat. And the same with the and the same with the I've got one back there. The old hat's old hat. But there you are. There's one for you, Bruce. But in the grown-ups world.
I assume everybody's lying these days. There's no truth out there anymore.
Yeah, I think it's probably pretty valid. But in the grown-up world of drones, allegedly, there is no grown-up world of drones. People that are selling the gear and have set themselves up as experts, particularly in the USA, are fiercely defending DJI and Autel and all that, because as FPV influencers are seeing their market going, never really was there in the first place, but all these experts are if DJI go, what they're going to be expert about and what they're going to be shilling, and I think it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. The market is sort of blowing up on two ends, or slowing down. It's not blowing up; it's slowing down, and that's fine. That didn't make much sense, did it?
I've got no problem with anybody lying, Kevin. I think it's just a natural human trait. I think everybody does it, except me.
Of course. But Kevin is the expert in these things, and he is fighting a war.
Isn't that an insult these days? Expert?
It is true. Yes, I shouldn't call him an expert. You're absolutely right. He is somebody that has studied this hard and knows his onions.
A maven. That's a much better.
A maven. Is that a new word for these sort of things?
Yeah. Well, you know what maven means.
No, I don't.
Go and look it up. This is Enhance Your Vocabulary Week.
Apache Maven. It's something to do with the software. Pre-loved clothing.
No, define
Maven woman, second-hand designer, experienced or knowledgeable expert. Also freak.
I'm not saying which one applies.
Very good. All right, I have experienced mine. Extended. Politicians don't lie, says Anthony. They just don't tell the truth.
Yeah.
Enough. So what else have we seen then? So I couldn't really wrangle up a DJI. Openly refusing compliance. Which I guess
yes.
Exactly. I don't understand that. You're going to explain that to me as well.
I have no idea what he's talking about, but if he's mentioned me, it must be good.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. It's interesting to see how long this is going to take to roll out or go through, and I don't know quite why suddenly, because this has been rolling on for a long time. I don't quite understand why it's getting. People are getting more excited about it at the moment. We know it's been coming. We know it's going to be talked about, and we also know that the complete DJI ban's been talked about as well. How on earth they'd make that happen now with goodness knows how many thousands?
They would revoke the FCC compliance. So therefore, anyone using a DJI drone would be in breach of FCC regulations and risk quite stiff penalties under the FCC, which are even worse than FAA regulations.
Yes, true enough. I'm just clicking
it's
that
all
link
technical.
there now.
How can it be okay one day and not okay the next? Because the FCC shouldn't be focused on politics. It should be focused on technical performance. And it's not going to change overnight, but that's the way they misuse these things for political agendas. Well, there's too many acronyms in there for me, Kevin. What are you talking about?
But hey, look, I'm like one of those, what's it? What no acronyms or something?
Slippery slope. Slippery slope. That reminds me of an old guy I saw the other day. He was looking pretty ill, and so we put lard on his back, and he just went downhill from there.
Yeah. I knew the joke was coming, but no, you're bang on right, Kevin, about GDPR and CCPA, which I assume is the American version of GDPR. But that is what all governments are doing. We're seeing this with the Sentinel program, not Sentinel. What's it called? I've forgotten. In Sapient, the Sapient system in the UK is a general data gathering from a bit here, a bit there, and joining the dots about people. It's happening all around the world. And if the Chinese have got brilliant at it, more fool us, selling us cheap. The idea of just the shopping sites, because it's not what they sell you, it's also what you've browsed while you're there, isn't it?
Yeah.
My collection of exotic toys.
Privacy is an illusion. Anyone that believes that any of us have any privacy,
true.
We have no privacy. So what's the point of GDPR? It's just saying, well, we're going to protect something you don't have. But when it comes down to the government, usually they're exempted from these things. We can collect all the data we like on you. Just ask Ed Snowden. It's rules for one group of people and another set of rules for another group of people. We have more to fear from governments than we do from bad actors, I believe.
They love GDPR when it comes to freedom of information, because they try and use it to say we can't tell you which member of our staff has done that naughty thing, because GDPR. But no, it is a good thing to have overall, to be fair. Anything we can do to sort of protect our data, or at least inquire about it.
The best thing you can do is spray paint all those CCTV cameras. That'll protect your privacy.
To be fair, most of the CCTV at the minute is in private hands, so I'm not so worried about it. But yeah, but were it not, it would be a scarier thing. Yeah, this was just funny with you talking about DJI. It was obviously we spoke about last week, whatever, about them being in the IAG meeting.
Yes,
so they really not all scary, because they're allowed to sit with the police and with the CAA.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, DJI allowed. Yeah, the UK police can have DJI in their meeting, so it must be fine. You make a fair and valid point there.
Well, we didn't really delve into too much last week. There was 2 entities, people or businesses, that had asked for themselves to have their names removed. Which brings the question, why? Because apparently to be in the IAG, one of the conditions is you have to be public about the fact you're in it. So I was told one of the names is LiveLink. The only company, there's about 2 brands that use that name, and one of them is LiveLink Aerospace, and I'm told the logo matches. So I've asked them outright if they were there, but they've chosen not to reply. But it's just interesting. They've had money off to peers within the UK to develop counter UAS, and one of the members of RPAS claims on LinkedIn they're involved in this company, which brings a question here about RPAS. They only ever seem to be interested in dealing with counter drone. So you've got a bit of a conflict of interest if you're saying we're representing the drone industry, and really you're actively involved in the counter drone industry and you have interest there. It would make you decide if this is the case here as well. If as well companies you're involved in, you're asking for them not to be on freedom of information requests as well. Why not? So yeah, questions there.
Yeah, no, that was a meeting that's given up a little bit of information, isn't it? Yeah, but as you open with that, the fact that DJI were on this thing for the UK police discussing drone security, Kevin needs to be on this on this call, and people like him. Yeah, and when's the next meeting? 10th of no, it's not going to tell us. But in the other report, it's coming up, isn't it? The next meeting.
I think they're monthly, so I imagine they're probably around about the same time each month.
Yeah, no, the DJI thing in America is crazy, it's crazy in some ways. It should have been addressed years ago, and the AUVSI actively courted DJI back in the day, put them on the board and all that sort of thing, lifted them up, given the big boost, and now they're rolling out the green program, which I see there's a meeting for. And funnily enough, again on LinkedIn, you can see the people who are at the AUVSI meeting about the future of droning and stuff being made in America are the ones screaming about we got to get rid of them. It's nonsense. But enough of that. What else do we know? Guys?
I know that there's no aircraft band radios on the market that are any bloody good. I built this.
Yes.
R80. See that? Lovely.
Yeah.
It gets FM radio really well. And I thought, the aircraft band's not working because I couldn't get anything. And I had my other scanner here. And then just before a plane flew over and called up and I could hear it. So it's just so insensitive. Like the other one, there's no sensitivity that you have to be like sort of sitting under the airplane to pick anything up. Absolutely crazy. I'm gonna have to design one myself because I think it's Rupert White. I think he bought one of the little Chinese ones. He said it doesn't work either. I mean, there's no cheap off-the-shelf VHF AM receivers that can pick up airband with any degree of sensitivity. It's like, what the hell? Maybe there's no demand for it. There should be.
Yeah. I'm looking at a circuit diagram. Of course, you don't get the what you wouldn't get is the accurate
digital tuning. Yeah, you need
the digital tuning that people like these days, because It really is. I'm thinking it wasn't ever meant much more than a couple of transistors, and it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to build one. I mean, it's easy enough to design and build one, but I guess no one's actually ever bothered to do the job. I've tried to find everything, and there's only the R series, which are pretty crap, and you can get yourself a Baofeng ham radio.
Yeah.
For $50 with airband, but the airband reception on those is pretty crap.
It's very poor, yeah.
Ham radio, so you can't necessarily legally own it or use it, and you don't want to get in trouble with the FCC. So we just want a receiver. So maybe I'll just probably have 2 or 3 integrated circuits and a couple of ceramic filters and a microcontroller.
So you wouldn't think about putting another SDR in there, or have a duty cycle thing where SDRs?
No, I looked at that. The problem is that radio transmissions are often quite short in nature, and I looked at multiplexing, and it's a pain in the backside, because also the other big thing is mute. It's much harder to do a mute function on an SDR than it is, and you need an antenna that's going to be dual band. It was a lot of messing around. What I may do is use the Raspberry Pi to do the digital side of things for the aircraft radio, and then you could just put the circuit board in there, and you'd have a frequency on top of your ADSB alarm that will tell you what you're listening to on the radio. So you can take out the microcontroller aspect and things, and just have a phase lock loop that's programmed to particular frequencies through the.
Why not just put another SDR in there and run?
Because those SDRs suck a lot of power. They're pretty. They get pretty hot, and 2 of them.
They do.
At the moment, it's designed to have a single lithium-ion cell, which will give you about 3 or 4 hours of operation, right? But as soon as you put another SDR in there, it's going to go down to about an hour and a half. And
but winter's coming. I mean, you could make it a hand warmer as well. You could. It'd be a marvelous thing for that.
Indeed. So I'll look around and see what I can come up with. But yeah, these are a disappointment. Even the FM's pretty distorted, to be honest. It's not a great deal of use for anything. Maybe it stops the papers blowing up my desk.
How many huge dollars did it cost, though?
These are about $50 US, I think, for the kit.
Oh no, quite expensive then. It's not cheap. No, you'll get an airband Baofeng for less than that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not brilliant. They're not brilliant either.
No, because they weren't designed to do AM demodulation on that frequency range. So they're actually using the FM demodulator on a slope. So it's kind of it's kind of crappy audio quality.
I won't do it now. It'd be fun to find the cheapest, most reasonable AliExpress radio.
Yeah, there is one that's pretty good, but they won't ship it to New Zealand, and it's $100 US or something anyway. So it's,
well, it ought to be $100 US. You're getting up there then.
So a secondhand scanner on eBay is still the best bet at the moment. Which is a shame.
Yes, it is a shame. I've been also on Radio Topics, been thinking about radio scatter this week, and aircraft radio scatter, and that's all fun stuff. So I need to buy a beam and start playing with that for a project.
There's been a couple of good flares recently from the sun. Did you see that?
Oh, is there? Yeah, I think I believe you've got lots of flares in the cupboard there.
Yeah, from the 70s. I've kept them all.
Yes.
But it's going to be interesting, isn't it? No one cares too much about solar flares at the moment, because all like a 15-minute outage is nothing if you're flying with an airline. You got inertial and all that, and the beacons and all that sort of crap. You don't have to worry about it. But when you've got 101 delivery drones hovering overhead in a busy urban environment, and they all don't know where they are, it's going to get exciting.
But having another said that, pop-up Bobby,
Do you see that drone that those students built, which can tell where it is from pictures from Google Earth? Can work out its GPS coordinates. It's got a camera on board.
It's because it's written on the picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
The camera's compared to Google Earth, and it knows where it is from GPS without GPS. Well, it knows the latitude and longitude with a reasonable degree of accuracy. That could be one piece of technology that'd be incredibly valuable in the day of drone delivery.
Well, signals of opportunity as well, isn't it? If you've been around and worked out where all the Wi-Fi routers are and how strong Donegal FM is at a particular position, as opposed to what are some Liverpool FM radios. There's loads of other ways of approximating position. No, approximating position.
Yeah.
But start getting yourself, in a ballpark place. And I would have thought if you're operating in a a little town somewhere, you could pretty quickly build up a database of images of the streets and locations that you're going to and how to get about.
It adds a lot of technology to a drone, though. A delivery drone becomes more expensive. You could have AI on board and the ability to do that photo mapping and a database of all that sort of stuff. That makes it far more difficult than just having a flight controller with waypoints that are automatically programmed in. So it's going to push the price of drone delivery up again.
I don't know how hard it would be to make a digital twin of anytownanywhere.com up to a certain size and then start using that. I don't think that it's too...
Well, it's still far beyond a basic flight controller, though.
No, but you'd do it off. You wouldn't do it on board, and you'd have clues in there. You'd get to drop breadcrumbs as it went. I'm sure
it's going to require a high bandwidth connection back to the base. And you remember you're talking about having 30 or 40 drones, and our video spectrum allocation is already so small you can only run 3 DJI systems at a time. So
yeah, true.
And they all go out at once. And you've got one man controlling them also. Line of sight, sort of manual control is not an option. And if you're working with location technology that have accuracy in terms of hundreds of meters, there's no way you can guarantee to miss that building or that tree or that school ground. This is going to be one of the biggest hurdles, because I was talking to a student yesterday, an American student, interviewed me because he wanted doing a project on drones and drone delivery and wanted some information. And I pointed out that probably the biggest problem they're going to have is the first time something really bad happens, insurance will go through the roof. That's going to be probably one of their major overheads, major costs, because unless you're insured, you're not in business. The first incident you've sued out of existence in America. So insurance costs will probably dictate the commercial viability of drone delivery.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. I completely agree with that. And that hurts me to completely agree with you about something, but I completely agree. But
I did some homework for the student. I did my research for this. Yeah. And it's amazing how many drone delivery incidents there have already been, considering it's not even a thing yet. Because 2018, that Russian postal drone crashed into the building in an embarrassing way when it just after it took off.
Yes.
In 2019, the Swiss drone carrying blood samples plunged into a lake. And if that had been some biological pathogen or something, oh my goodness, what would have happened then?
2019, what happened in 2020?
2020, I don't have 2020. Must have been a
pandemic. No, never mind. I was referring to the biological agents going into a Swiss lake.
In 2022, the wing drone landed on the power lines in Australia and cut off power to 2,000
but that was an accurate landing. That's precision landing. 2021,
Amazon set fire to 22 acres. Last week, an Indian drone crashed on the railway lines in a building complex, actually. They hit the building complex. 2022, they crashed onto train lines in India. 2022, Mana had their little crash where the parachute didn't work.
There's definitely been a few incidents, and there'll be certainly lots more that we haven't heard about. I know Amazon had some in the UK back in the day. That would have been like when were they playing? About 2014 or 16 or something. That they also had some incidents there. Bobby makes a great case for it. He's a great speaker and a great advocate for it. About on Bar Humbug about deliveries in towns when you can walk to the shop.
I do think that there is one for the food delivery thing. We've seen how the companies have come out of nowhere, Just Eat. And we didn't, and Uber Eats and all these things, a couple of years ago, we wouldn't have even, didn't even exist or even thought of using, and they're now commonplace.
Are they though? I mean, I live somewhere where it doesn't exist here. So
over here, people. I mean, you've got to think about it as well. In a lot of cities, there's been quite although politicians deny it. There has been quite a war on the motorists, because it's a good way with councils when you're struggling with money to get more money is to get it off the motorists. So you've got there are people that are choosing not to drive or you're struggling to be able to afford to do so. You wouldn't make particular journeys. And then there's also just the lazy side of it. I say lazy. I mean, you work all day long, you're knackered. You just want to get home. Sit down, or even if you work from home, you just want to, get off what you're doing, sit down in front of a TV, put your Netflix on, and then, last thing you want to be doing is getting in your car, going out, grabbing some food, coming back. So you will put the order in, because, everyone uses the phone these days, we always used to have the computer, and just so much we do with our devices, so much so it's scary. In fact, for that, anyone in the UK on iPlayer, it's worth watching. Scam Interceptors, an absolutely brilliant show. They use an ethical hacker, and he hacks the call centers that are actually trying to scam everyone out of their money. And they do like these live as people are trying to be scammed. They try and assist and try and get hold of them and try and stop it. But this is people with their phone. They've got everything on there. In fact, they saved a woman in Canada in one of the recent episodes. Old woman in a sort of care complex, but she had like her own little apartment. And she had over $100,000. And these scammers were trying to get her. And, they just called her up, pretending to be a bank. And just say, can you just install this app? And they're doing it. Everyone, you'd think people would know not to, but everyone's willing to install this app. And they give them complete control to their phone. And even when the BBC called up and they said, when they got hold of her and spoke to her, and they even went to the point, actually, before they got hold of her, was trying to get hold of her. They found out where the complex was, looked up on Google Earth, found the concierge, explained, concierge runs around, takes phone off, I said, look, you're being scammed. They spoke to him and said, that wasn't your bank, it was some scammers. Soon as, within 15 minutes of them putting the phone down, telling her, they called her up again, and she was continuing on. She was about to walk down to the bank, take all the money out, and then put it in.
Buy some Google cards.
Going to the bank, putting all their money in a parcel and sending it to addresses. You'd think that was madness, but it's literally happening. And that's all because of all the power that people are putting into their phones. And now when we're going on about that, I forgot where I'd started.
No, but so that's what Bobby does with Manor, is it?
Oh yeah, because everything's on your phone, you're just used to doing everything. So you'll be here and you'll be like, oh, I'll order my food now. And the apps, people have nailed their apps. They're very, very intuitive. It's very easy to get your order. You can bring up your last order. And they're very clever as well. They'll be marketing to you. They'll be saying, because you won't even be thinking of ordering. They'll be going, oh, well, today we'll do 50% off. Or a local business will say, give people, basically they're doing loss leaders to get you to do it. So you think, oh, boom, I'll do it. So, if you look at the feedback, Bobby's even done a thing yesterday where they literally did a trial and there was no advertising at all, period.
Yeah.
And showing how many people suddenly started using the service because it had gone word of mouth because everyone's going, oh, this drone thing. So the novelty value alone will get you doing it. But what they're finding, they have said, is people once they've used it, they haven't just said, oh, it's novelty, not doing it again. They've continued on using it. As long as the service is good, your food turns up warm and you're not paying any more for it. You're not going to care whether it comes by motorcycle or whether, that's it. Or if it comes over, if it comes by what any means. The only issue you are going to have with drones, which you don't get with people turning up with a motorcycle or a car or a normal cycle, is you'll have your NIMBYs that are going, ooh, drones, I'm being spied on, or they go about the noise.
That's all drones too. That's all drones too.
The noise, because you listen to a motorcycle coming past or a car, they're all louder. It's just bizarre, isn't it, that you get a new noise that you've not heard before, and suddenly you're making an issue over it. And it's like, I think because we're so used to hearing those other noises, you almost kind of switch them off and forget that you've got all that going on in the background anyway. But I think
they should deliver by police helicopter.
Yeah, that's even noisier.
I'm going to
say you can't say that. You should watch the NIMBYs. I love watching the NIMBYs. There's one even on putting a freedom of information request about the an MPAS helicopter being deployed. So there was a police on a mission which they had to deploy a helicopter for. I think it was something fairly significant. And it's in the afternoon, and you've got a NIMBY complaining that a helicopter's flying in the afternoon, interrupting him watching his telly.
Well, he could have a drone on that helicopter.
He could have been flying his drone.
I like
getting
his
airspace.
Tired after a hard day's work. and he's got time to watch Netflix. My God, I don't have time to watch Netflix or eat. You've got it easy, mate.
Yeah. And to eat. Yeah, I suppose it's because I just don't live in a world where I can imagine you can do that sort of a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's not
you've got it different, Gary, because you don't even know what it's like to have electricity half the time.
No, that is very true. It's very true. It's a luck and novelty. Yes, 26-hour power cut last week.
Things have really changed because, Amazon has changed the world we live in. And to be fair, what people say is for the better because, I know it just from doing jobs around the house, DIY. And the good thing is it's up to everyone else's game. So it always used to be Amazon. So I've run out of these screws. I've run out of this filler. Oh, bloody hell, I need this paint. And I do the order. And Amazon's even more amazing now because sometimes this is, as you mentioned, I was doing painting at 3 a.m. in the morning. I've literally been 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning and thinking, bloody hell, I need that. And I can do by 10 p.m. the same day. So same day, I can have some paint.
Wait till AI kicks in, mate. Wait till AI kicks in. You'll be thinking, I could do with some paint. There's a knock on the door. Before you've even ordered it, it's there because they know.
Yeah. So the good thing about it, like you've got your tool station and you've got your screw fixes. Your brands and bricks and mortar, they do it now. So I'm going on their website, and if the order's over 25 quid, it's free delivery. It's there next day. So everyone's doing it. So we're now used to it. Well, I want this. I want it now. I don't want to pay anymore. And it's boom. Everyone's doing it. And that is where the food delivery fits. It does fit with the expectations of what we've got now, and we would use. I've even heard actually a restaurant
without drones. Why do we need drones?
Yeah, I had a restaurant owner locally that when he saw the CAA thing, he was like, the first thing he messaged me and said, "Can we do drone deliveries for our food?" It was like the start of his own drone company, and I went, "You can't just. It's not that simple, mate. It ain't that simple." It's still all certified of that. I'm sorry, you haven't got enough. How much money that you've got? You have not got enough money to play in that game. What you'd have to be doing is waiting for someone to come along, Manor or Amazon or whoever, set the service up, and you'd be going through it like Just Eat. They'd be taking a cut, won't they? I mean, I think all these services already take about 20%. It's quite.
They do take a lot.
Google. Google done
like well, Bruce will bring along his Trebuchet.
Yes.
Delivery service, but your mate now can go and buy a fly cart for $25,000.
It's great.
You could have done that 4 or 5 years ago.
That's what I said to that kid. I said that's going to legitimize things. But where did Flirty / Skydrop go wrong then, eh? Early adopter?
Too early to the game.
It's all about timing, isn't it?
It is. Well, now DJI's arrived with that. Anything in that sector, if it haven't. Bobby has been clever in signing up and having just like Wing did, because Wing's not delivering from a shop, it's delivering from the on-site warehouses that's right there with them, and that's what you got to do. If you haven't tied that up, then you're lost regardless of the platform. So those guys only had the platform. The fly carts come along. Well, cheerio then. This is better than your platform. Much cheaper.
With the corpses of
Gary, you are getting, and I was thinking about this after the show, and I've forgotten to mention it, but you are getting carried away, far too carried away with the DJI product, because you are making the assumption, and which is proven wrong multiple times, that it is as weatherproof as it should be. You only prove how weatherproof.
No, I think, but I don't think there's much evidence that a lot of the Flirties and things were very weatherproof.
Well, I mean, the one I'm thinking
Bobby's
about is Manor has proven it.
He's proved it. He's proved. No, I'm not saying he's in. I don't think he's. That's not a product that I think's in the danger zone. I think there are others that have basically taken DJI large things, whatever, and put a skin on it and pretended they've made it, or Chinese copy large hexacopter, putting a skin on it and pretended it's all their own work. Those are the people that are gone.
Yeah,
in my humble opinion,
it's my thought with the DJI product is you wouldn't want to be saying I'm doing a drone delivery service with that, without you still having gone through, maybe even thousands of tests, so you've got to know what ranges do I really get to in practice. Where it is you're delivering, because obviously you'll have different weather conditions in different areas of the world, and also just getting that understanding of what limits you can push. I noticed with Mana, I think one of the things they found was an issue is it's when you're getting colder weather and you're worrying about ice on the wings. It's those kind of things where you know the limits of where you've got to say no, we ain't doing any more flights this evening.
Yeah, well, and to scale it up a little bit in the world of that was the other thing that happened, that in China, that 50-kilometer AAM flight, the Joby, was it Joby? Somebody, one of them revealed their pricing today, and it's way more. It's 4 times more than all those original estimates of our, almost free. Yeah, well, EHang will do very well, but it's just the pricing models are going to be nowhere near. They are definitely going to be helicopter pricing or
Whisper
more
said
per passenger seat.
I think Whisper said, was it $1 per passenger kilometer or something? Oh, right.
It's not going to be that. It's absolutely not going to be that based on the price of the aircraft and the utilization that they want. They want to utilize these things at a far higher hourly rate than helicopters operated at the moment, and it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in aviation, and that's if you just bring a brand new aircraft to market and you could fill it up with a Jet A1, it wasn't fancy electric or whatever, you'd still struggle to make it work.
Unless you're Boeing.
Unless you're Boeing. Well, yes,
would it come with doors?
Here we are.
I'll put it into the chat. I was just going to mention it because obviously it fits in with Bruce's comment. The Telegraph have done a fairly good article on drone delivery, just trying to look at it from both sides, saying on one hand, the disease positives being presented by the industry, and on the other hand, here's NIMBYs and other groups that are very unhappy about it. Don't tell me it's doing a paywall thing on here. Let me see it.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I'm overseas, mate.
Don't you use that paywall get around site?
No. So what's that? Is that for the UK or is that for?
Yeah, this is just with the CAA saying they've got the consultation on about the BV loss. So they're saying there's a bit of a row erupts, which is kind of stuff you've covered on the show in previous weeks anyway. But it's just here, the fact that it's kind of discussing that it's, we're not there yet from the fact of public opinion either. I think, the public are going to have to be won over. I think, as I say, food deliveries, I think there's a genuine case, and we shall see. But it does make the point here that they've looked at the trials for the NHS deliveries and so on, and saying a lot of the stats that are put out about how much cheaper it is aren't true. That hovercraft and cars and so on can work out cheaper. So we need to really get to the bottom of the figures and see what really.
I sent you a non-paywall link.
I see this dodgy link that's been sent. Here we are. Yeah, well, that NHS trial was particularly heavy-handed with the airspace that they asked for, and the way they got the general aviation community really, really angry about what they were proposing, and that was foolish on their part. And I know that somebody has done a very solid breakdown of the costs involved in this, the cost benefit stuff. Insert business words that I don't know into the right place here. And they have found, and they are people that want to do this sort of thing. They have discovered it is not cost effective. so yeah. And they're going to release that quite soon, I believe. But more than that, I cannot say. I cannot. So where are we at here? Okay, so what else? Oh, he's gone. He's muted.
Oh yeah, ping you another link so we can have a quick talk on this one. EHang have been trying to make. They love to kind of come up with these stories they push out social media. Woo! Look at us, aren't we legitimate? So I don't know why this is, but they're trying to get into Europe via Spain. Spain at the moment is where they are trying to push out their PR. So they've done a link here with Telefonica Tech. Now, I've had some dealings with Telefonica. I used to work for O2 that got taken over by them, and I'm not very impressed at all by them. O2, run by British Telecom, was a far better entity for the customer. I just see Telefonica as really just trying to run the businesses with the best return for them, but at the expense.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Drone light shows. They push light shows as well, although I'm not really seeing much. It's a thing that's pushed on the website. There's lots of little things, and I've not really seen much of this in practice of them really pushing that as a business. But they kind of make out they have a business in drone light shows as well. I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised if the drones are flying around with RD-Pilot, but who knows? I'm reading alongside this that when you look at the share price, EHang tries to value itself 18 times book value, it's saying here, whereas Joby and Archer are 4 times. So really just saying to the investor, it looks like a much bigger risk. But yeah, here, they're definitely trying to use Spain to present themselves as a serious aviation entity and get an investment. But I would say show us the use cases, show us it being used, show us you're making money. That's the bottom line of it, isn't it? Show us you're making the money and do it repeatedly, and show us a craft that's going to
just be like the .com boom. Don't need money, just potential.
Yes, I'd just like to see the distances as well. It was funny, we're talking about the batteries on that, where you've been maxing out 500 cycles. Reality would be you're nowhere near that. I noticed someone was complaining about the and DJI were kind of replying in a way of, yes, we know there might be an issue, but one of the mini drones reporting that batteries failing in something like 30 to 50 cycles. So, yes, whether they've got some issue with charges, that I don't know. But that just kind of got me thinking. If you're getting your normal drone and you're not getting that many cycles out of it, that really hits your eVTOLs if they find similar issues.
Because you're pushing the batteries much harder than you would in an EV or anything else. So
yes.
But here's your 50 kilometer flight.
Listen to it. So quiet.
Yeah, but it's good. It's like electric cars. They've got to add the noises. So they've got added dramatic music to theirs.
So that'll be brought down by a copyright claim, that plane.
That's fine.
It's not very
long. Oh, that's my lad at Dunkeswell.
To me. It looked like I went up, went around, came down.
My lad went to Dunkeswell.
Oh, never taxi up to a clock. It was stuck into the propeller.
He went sounds quiet.
Rotate.
Now, I reckon that's this end of it's more realistic because you can get a fairly decent flight time out of it. It's electric charging. There's big batteries. They're doing cars. This is where the electric revolution is going to come from. It's going to come from this world up or down or whatever. And it's, this charging infrastructure is at an airfield. So if you are setting up your drone delivery company, there's a great big hangar there. There's the charger. There's the battery. That's a lot of your problems solved for you. Aerovolt.
Do they have 3-phase at hangars like that? How long is it going to take you to charge?
They do have 3-phase. They do have 3-phase, and they've got a 600 kilowatt hour battery to help with the vagaries of the 3-phasing there.
And that'd be really good as a tow plane, because once it bursts into flames, the gliders could get extra altitude from the rising heat.
I'd like to fly that. I'd like to give that a go. Petrol also catches fire.
Yes,
but I think, I think there's more potential than that. Certainly than an EHang. That's for sure. That's for very, 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 very sure. It still flies if you lose the motors, John. Sorry?
Just need a STOL version for landing on those helipads or those vertiports.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just. I thought the way that Aerovolt had rolled out their network was quite interesting as well. Let's get that map up.
Johnny DRC says it still flies if you lose a motor, but not if you lose half a prop, I suspect.
Fly one prop. We all know that. Where's the map? Where's the map? Where's the map? I can't find their map quickly. Where's their map of the insults? Oh, it's taking me too long. I should have had that ready to go. Right, let's stop sharing. So, with that, hour and a quarter. Any more for any more? Have we seen anything? Oh, there it is there, as I do that. Have we seen anything?
It's been a very quiet week.
Yeah, early on in the year, isn't it?
Mature industry. You don't get any excitement anymore.
Well, no, and that's cool. I did get a nice press invite, which maybe the lad will go to, but I think he's working, to go and see that laser. Pew pew. The CUS. Let's see. Do you want the invite, Ian? I can send you down to. It's at Porton Down as well. And
I think I might end up getting taken to a black site if I went down there.
And that's not a negative inference for viewers in countries where that word's very sensitive. Yes. You can't say that. You can't say that.
I'm glad Google got taken to task for its damn Gemini racist AI system.
Oh, it's only as good as the data it's given, isn't it? Any of them are. As I tell the children, they're artificial, but they're not intelligent.
No.
It's you believe any of all that.
What is the thing behind that Google thing? Because I wasn't paying attention, but I noticed a lot of people get throwing their hands up in the air about it. So what's happened?
Well, it was when I noticed when I first tried it, I wanted a picture of something. You cannot specify a race. Oh, no. To specify a race is insensitive and blah, blah. And when you asked for any kind of person, it was always a minority. It was African or it was Asian.
Generally Asians
very
for me.
Rarely was it a Caucasian. And it wouldn't let you specify Caucasian. That's being racist, it said. So here, did you see the examples they put in the media? A black pope. And there was Vikings, black Vikings and Asian Vikings. And it was quite funny, really. It was just virtue signaling at its worst.
Oh, yeah. No, just saw someone who claimed they were from Google saying where Google gone wrong, saying the reason people use the search engine is you just put in a search term and it just gives you the information back. And it's not trying to apply filters and assumptions and saying that, with the AI, they've taken kind of moral kind of not if moral's the right word, but there was kind of mindset decisions taken about how it would operate and what it would tell you, and that's influenced what you're getting back. So it's not doing what people expect of Google, which is just answer this question.
Exactly, because when it does its image creation, I said, create me an image of a flying air taxi crashed in flames, and it said, "Oh, can't do that."
Oh, can't do that. Flames.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I've asked for a few. So then
none of them will let you want to do that.
It's not like I should have said.
You could be a bit more adventurous about it and put smoke and other words and or put fireworks flying out of it. Creative wording.
I don't think it lets you do anything now, does it? Image wise,
no. It does do images, but nothing with people in it. You can't use people. That's being reevaluated at the moment. It's crazy.
I'm just trying to do one. I don't think I can now. I'm trying to do your drone and fireworks. Let's see if that pops up. No. I can't create images yet, so I'm not able to help you with that. That's what it's telling me right now.
Oh, maybe
they've given up
your free allotment.
No. Woke is the word, Ian. Grease is the word. We all know grease is the word. Right. We are definitely talking nonsense. So it's time, dear viewer, wherever you are in the world, look after yourselves. We'll see you again at 2100 GMT next week, and maybe something will have happened. Although that 50-kilometer open air mobility flight and the fast FPV drone and the controversial ADGI banned China and also FPV influence, quite a bit's happened, but it's not particularly interesting.
Oh, it created. I asked it to create an image of an empty air taxi on fire, and it's got an airplane with flames coming out of it on the runway.
Oh, you've got images there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Might have switched it off in Africa because,
Oh
yeah. All right, I'm going. Look after yourselves, everybody. See you next week. Take care. Cheers for now. And